everybody, and welcome back to Come Play Podcast, episode 19. On this episode, we're going to talk about the Porzingis trade. We're going to do some Super Bowl prop bets and talk about old video games that we used to play as kids. Everybody is here today already. We're 15 seconds in.
I'm sorry.
Did you drop your phone?
No, it wasn't my phone, but I just want to let you know I cannot help the force of gravity, Tyler.
It's always Brendy.
I love it. I love it.
15 fucking seconds in. All right. Hot start. We're going to move on here. Zach's thought of the week. Let's go.
All right, Zach's thought of the week. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you guys for accommodating my drunken escapades last night and allowing me to sleep in for an extra hour.
You're welcome, sir.
Let's get right into the thought of the week. Whenever you had sex, an item
He's not even going to be able to get this out.
An item vanished. Like, every time you do it, an item vanishes. How often would you risk it? Like, an item that you own is just gone.
Jeez.
That's a really good question. Shit.
Damn.
Oh, man.
I worked hard for all these things.
All right. So if it was me, I'd buy like 50,000 pencils just to increase the chances.
Or get a bunch of those, like, those Thai babies or whatever they're called.
My God. So could it be one of those things where it's like it could be literally anything? So you're having sex and all of a sudden the condom disappears, like in the middle of it. Like, could that be a thing?
I mean, I guess that's possible.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the 50,000 pencils. I'd probably go with that route. Just buy like a bunch of useless shit. But
Just
also
really
knowing
cheap,
me,
useless shit, or you just like went to one of those office supply stores and just bought like a bunch of paper.
yeah. Ty worked.
I work at Staples. I can hit you
Right.
up.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you work at Staples. If I come in and say, "Hey, I want 50,000 pencils," are you gonna hook me up?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it'd be better to go to paper route. It would cost you less money. But
So how much would 50,000 pencils cost now? I'm curious.
What's your
I don't
typical pack of pencils?
Let me do a quick Google search on
Well,
that.
Yeah, Google search this.
So
No, but I like
12 pencils, probably like $2 or $3. So you can do the math because I really don't feel like it. But what I can tell you is like 5,000 sheets of paper is like $40-$50.
I'm just saying I don't want to spend like $30,000 to have sex. Is that
exactly
what that is?
So what's the one thing you'd probably be pissed off the most that would disappear?
I mean, like
My
Xbox.
Yeah.
That's my answer too.
Because like your car could be gone. Like the morning.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I didn't
think about that. Like your car.
I mean, there's a loophole there because I don't own my car.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't technically own my car.
Well, I don't technically own mine either, but like I act like I do.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I do. I still pay, but I don't.
Oh wait,
own
actually no, I technically do own it because I pay the bills on
So,
it.
what defines owning something is the new question.
Are you on the registration?
Yes.
Yeah, but like, what about just something you bought? Like, I bought these headphones, but they're not legally bound to me.
Well, no, I'm just saying for a car, like anything, like I mean, like I honestly probably the biggest thing for me is my phone. So like that would suck.
That would really suck. No.
The problem is my luck is so bad. I'd buy 50,000 sheets of paper, like to increase my chances, and it still wouldn't matter. Like all the stuff I actually want would be taken.
Yeah, I mean, answer the question though. How much would I risk it? I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna do the increased odd pot kind of thing. I'll just stack the pot with the useless pencils. But
I will say one thing. I think we're all in agreement here that we're not trying to give sex away. Like we're not trying to like give it up.
No,
We're just trying to find loopholes to go about it though.
I mean, it's not bad for me because I don't get laid anyway. But
listen, we're all card players here, right? So we're all about taking risk and taking the odds. So we're all we're doing right now is we're playing with the cards that we're dealt, right? It's a terrible situation for everybody, but we're gonna make the most of it. I'd probably have like just the really scheduled sessions, like
Oh, okay. That brings up another question I have.
Okay.
What?
So every time, like before you have sex, every time you gotta go to Staples and buy a pack of pencils, but like something might disappear, including the pencils. It's like, would you still do it?
I,
Like,
I-
you
I
have
actually
to buy it. You have to buy a pack every time.
at that point I'm just jumping out the window. Like that at that point it's just too much, and I don't want to live without either.
Can I
It's
stock
like-
up in the next few times?
No, you have to buy one pack. Because like
But then
eventually you'll end up with like 10,000 pencils. But
Well, yeah,
like,
but then there's not as much of a guarantee of.
Thank
of
God for
pencils
Amazon
going.
drones. Am I right?
Yeah.
Hang on, babe.
I have so much.
30 minutes.
God damn it! I have like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, I'm definitely I'm risking it.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt I'm
I'd
still
risk,
risking
I'd
it, but the
risk. I'll
question
risk.
is how often. Like,
Yeah, I'm still trying to find a loophole over here, but I'm struggling.
no loopholes.
I don't know. You were probably looking at a severe reduction in the amount of sessions. Like,
Okay,
So-
we'll
so
say
what-
that you can't lose your house or car.
So what
we're
happens? Like
still talking
what
about
happens
less
if I masturbate though?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, you can still do that all you want. It's not sex.
Well, I know, but it's like, do you lose half of something? You
Well,
know,
you're moving out
that-
tomorrow.
Like that Willy Wonka room.
So,
I'm gonna go with no on that one.
That's a no, Chief.
Chief called. He said no.
No.
Yeah,
I'm still risking. There's no
I
way.
I don't know.
No way.
Is it like once a week you're moving to now? Is that what you're moving
Yeah.
to now?
That's still probably too much. If you're doing that once a week for a whole year, that's still 52 sessions and 52 chances of things being
Yeah.
gone.
That's a lot. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Do you not know how many weeks are in a year?
No, I know, but when you put it like that, it's crazy.
Put it with the simple math that you probably could have done yourself when you said
Like
that
I'm
sentence out loud.
I'm looking. What? Shut the fuck up. I'm looking around my room and I'm like, what can I possibly lose?
What if
You're-
you
well,
lost
you're-
one shoe?
You're in a terrible. What sucks for you is that I've been in your room and you have like all these insane sports memorabilia and all
Yeah.
these like you can lose that shit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a risk. So for
Yeah.
sure, it's a big. I mean, I
Like a
also have,
camera gear and
I
all
have
those
like
later.
I have double the chance because I have an Xbox One and a PS4. So like I'm in deep shit here.
You know God is gonna fuck with you when the first 2 sessions you lose both.
Yeah, really.
Like at that point, God's just fucking with you.
No, I'm still risking it, and I'll probably.
I'm risking.
I'll
100%
say.
risking it.
I'm
say
risking
every-
it,
I'll say
but-
every
but,
other
like,
week.
with I'm risking it, but like with a reduction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, every other. That's a lot of. I don't
That's 26.
know.
About
20,
26
26
sessions.
That's still fucking a lot, man.
That is still a lot, but that's definitely less than 52.
All right, everybody. Let's go to Staples. We can use
Yeah,
my
we're-
discount,
All right.
10%.
It's the only way they're staying in business.
10% discount, motherfucker.
Well, here's the new question: is a pack of paper one thing or 500 things?
That's what I was gonna. That is what I was
God.
gonna. Ask.
If
You have
if
to open the pack.
I was gonna say if you open it, it's probably a bunch of things.
No, you have to
Because
open it and you literally have to lay it all over the floor in the bedroom.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask earlier because I'm looking at here. I have post-it notes. There's probably like 300 post-it notes here. Is
Yeah.
that one thing or 300 things?
Yeah, but
Well,
they're
yeah,
stuck
but-
together.
Yeah, but then it's like after you have sex, you walk around the living room or kitchen or whatever. You're like, okay, what disappeared? You're like tiptoeing, trying to figure it out.
It's like a pair of scissors that you forgot you had. So
Yep.
because that's gonna drive you crazy because like I don't know what it is.
Also,
Like a year
I
later,
did.
you're like, where the fuck are those scissors?
It's like,
Also-
oh right, 4 weeks ago, right.
see, this is
4 weeks. Wow.
this is a question because I collect sports cards, so I have thousands upon thousands of cards.
If
Is
they're in
one
the pack,
card?
they're one.
No, but they're not in packs.
So, is there any sports card that like if you lost, you wouldn't really care too much?
Oh, there's a lot of sports cards. I
Yeah,
have.
you open a pack and you get like 6
Well, no,
good ones.
I mean, I was just wondering like if there's some like he just kept around just to have
I'm
or
sure
whatever.
he's got some random Buffalo player that he doesn't.
Oh
give a
no!
shit about.
I mean, most of my cards are just random, like non-valuable cards. But there is cards that I have that are of value that, like, if I lost, I mean, I wouldn't be devastated, but I'd be pissed off. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, but I would say I have a few thousand sports cards, so I guess that is one a piece. So yeah, maybe I'm better.
Yeah, if, let's say you buy a pack. If that pack is not open, that counts as one item. So you would lose that in this scenario. If the pack is open and the cards are spread out, you'll lose one card because they're each individual things. That's how I take it. And the same goes for the Post-it notes. You'll lose a pack of Post-it notes. And the same thing goes with a stack of paper. If you keep the stack of printer paper in the bag, then that counts as one item. If you open the bag, I think that's one per. So.
Yeah. We have way too much time on our hands to talk
We do.
about
Dude,
that.
this was a good topic.
Yeah, that was a good question.
All right, let's
move on. I think we've all decided we'd do it.
Yeah,
and we suck at this.
Once a month.
Yep.
So we're gonna move on to our sports news here. We don't have any video game topics this week, but there was a lot of sports topics this week. Probably the biggest one coming yesterday in the NBA. Kristaps Porzingis gets traded from the New York Knicks to the Dallas Mavericks. This was I'll say this. This was weird because I seen a article on my phone. I think it was like maybe 12 or 1 o'clock. That was like Porzingis concerned about next direction. And then by like 3 o'clock, he was traded. I was like, okay, I guess the meeting didn't go well. But apparently he did ask for a trade.
Where are we going? Not with you. All right, cool. See you.
And it's just, and it's also crazy, like for a star player like him, like how he got traded that quickly. Anyway, yeah, he wanted out, and this trade is really funny on many levels, and I'll say why. So yeah, so the Kristaps goes to the Knicks, in exchange for Dennis Smith Jr., who they should have drafted. That's the funny part of this. Like, they get the guy that everybody said they should have drafted. They trade for him. They get 2 first-round picks, unprotected, 2 future first-round picks, I should say, that are unprotected, along with Wesley Matthews, DeAndre Jordan, and I want to say there was somebody else that I don't see on
You said DeAndre Jordan?
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and I thought there was one other older player. I might be tripping though. And then the New York Knicks gave obviously Porzingis. They also traded Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway Jr., 2 Michigan guys there on the move, and then Courtney Lee goes to the Mavericks as well. Yeah, this is like I said, this was kind of to me out of left field. All of a sudden, I see this article, like I said, about the meeting, and then he's gone within hours.
Boy, you say it's out of left field. I say like someone like threw like a ball back from the stands. Like that's how far out it was.
Well, I mean, I know, obviously, Porzingis is still dealing or treating the ACL injury, so he's still got a kind of a ways to go. And the other thing about it is he is a free agent after this season, so does he stay with the Mavs? No. But now, obviously, anytime a trade happens, where a star player goes, the team the star player goes to automatically is so talked about playoffs and championships and stuff like that. The Porzingis is there now. Luka Doncic obviously is there. But I will say one thing. I think Dennis Smith Jr. is I honestly think he can be the next big thing. So him going back is kind of crazy. But I don't know, Brendy. Off your initial reaction, who do you think won this trade?
I would definitely have to say the Mavericks, because quite honestly, if you look at the New York Knicks right now, they are dead last in the NBA at 10-40. And quite honestly, I would say before this trade, the Knicks were in contention to get Zion Williamson. But this is kind of funny. I actually feel like this makes them better for this season, but not afterwards. It's not going to make them better because let's be honest, DeAndre Jordan and Wesley Matthews probably not going to stick around for the end of the or for the end of the season, yeah, but not for they're not going to resign. So quite honestly, it's basically just to trade Kristaps for Dennis Smith Jr. and 2 first-round picks. That's all I got out of that.
Right.
So it all depends on what the 2 first-round picks turn out to be. I will say, it's really risky from the Mavs perspective though, because they're actually trading a lot of their first-round picks away. I'm not sure what years exactly, but
I just said futures. That might be something that they figure out.
Well, it'll be confirmed later, but I do know they're trading away a lot of their future first, so they're kind of going in high on the core that they have right now, which I'm not quite sure why, but because the Atlanta Hawks actually own their first round pick next year. It's I think it's top 10 protected, so they probably won't get it, but it'll keep going up and up and up until the Hawks eventually get it. So if they really believe in this Porzingis guy, then hopefully it'll all work out. I will say put him in the I guess the power forward spot. It would work out really well for him. And if the Knicks are able to use their first round picks very well, then it could work out for them as well. So I'd really have to say, first glance, it looks like the Mavs are the winner because their playoff chances probably go up slightly. But in the long term, maybe the Knicks. We'll see.
I mean, the other thing that this does that everybody's talking about, and a lot of people are giving flack for the Knicks, is that now they have the salary cap space in the offseason to get 2 max contracts with some big guys coming up from free agency, obviously KD, Kyrie, and there's a lot of guys out there. So so they could potentially, I think they said potentially, depending on I to be honest, I don't know Wesley Matthews and DeAndre Jordan's contract off the top of my head, but they'll either be, if they have 1 year left, they're not going to be re-signed, and if they have more than 1 year, I'm sure they'll be bought out. I'm sorry, right here. They're both expiring contracts, so yeah, they will be gone. So yeah, they'll have enough space for 2 max contracts, which is kind of the big thing that everybody's talking about. But obviously, you can have all that space and nobody, and now I know it's New York and that's a tempting place, but yeah, I mean, you can talk about all the salary cap space you have, but until you use it, it's worthless. So we'll kind of have to see where they go with that. I will say, like I said, I think Dennis Smith Jr. is a hell of a player. It's just so ironic that the Knicks traded for him after they should have took him in the draft. Instead they went with
shouldn't have, yeah.
I was gonna say they went with Frank Ntilikina, which he could still be a solid player, but I mean I think the guy with the higher ceiling is Dennis Smith Jr.
Right, definitely.
But it's just funny. But now the interesting thing about this as well is that there was a report that the Knicks reached out to the Pelicans for Anthony Davis, but the Pelicans actually declined because they didn't want Kristaps. So that's interesting because with our next topic here, Anthony Davis had requested his trade earlier in the week, which he actually got fined $50K for, which obviously is nothing for him, but he did get fined for requesting a trade. Immediately, the Pelicans said they have no intentions of trading him. Now, the obvious destination that he would land is Los Angeles, the Lakers, teaming up with LeBron. There's been, a lot of talk about the prospects going back, possibly Lonzo, Kyle Kuzma, Ingram. So there's a lot of guys going back, but yeah, it was just interesting that they didn't want Kristaps because I know maybe the thing about it is Kristaps has been injury prone, and that ACL injury he suffered, is at a risk. But that's I don't know. In my opinion, like I feel like that's a pretty big thing to just turn down like that. Like it sounded like the way I read it that they weren't even entertaining the offer for it. They just said they didn't want him. But either way.
Whenever they find someone for like offering a trade or like publicly, announcing something like that, to me it comes off as the team saying, "Shh, we know we suck."
Well, I mean it's a lot of smoke.
It's just saying I don't want to play for this shitty team anymore. Like,
it is.
The team has literally been Anthony Davis and nobody else.
Yeah, I mean,
like ever since he's been drafted.
Yeah.
At some point, players like that get tired of being on a team like that. Like it's always honorable to be, a franchise player, the guy who you can only see in a Pelicans jersey. But when you're not winning and you got nobody else helping you and nobody on your back, I mean, nobody's no one's gonna stay there. No one's gonna ever stay there.
It's like they're not even attempting to like build a team around him. They're just like him and then everyone else.
It's actually okay to build a team around a star player like that, but you need at least somebody to help.
Well, no, I'm saying they're not even attempting to. Like,
right, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like so. If the Pelicans get Anthony Davis, realize he's a star, and he's like, okay, so cool, we get Anthony Davis. Now let's build the rest of the team.
Right.
That hasn't happened.
Well, I mean, the thing that came up with this was the whole loyalty aspect of the NBA. But I don't really buy it. I mean, look, excuse me. I think I said in our chat that there is no loyalty, but I was not just talking about the players. I think GMs and stuff as well are just as fall under that category too. Yeah, I mean Anthony Davis, that's an all-star player. Right
yeah,
there.
like okay, so it's the GM's fault too, but like I'm just saying, like, oh yeah, we need to build a team around Anthony Davis. Let's sign Solomon fucking Hill. Like,
yeah,
like that's not gonna work.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. They kind of made strides last year with making the playoffs, and then ended up beating Portland. I believe it was in the first round, but they're and I will say this too, and the NBA is different than any other league right now, and it's kind of dumb to think this way, but with the dynamic of the Golden State Warriors, the super team of the world, like the NBA is very different from other leagues because there is a super team, like a super team, that teams kind of have to, whenever you talk about a team, they're always compared to the Warriors and stuff like that. So like, it's a really interesting case. I mean, if I'm the Pelicans, he's on his last year of his deal. There's no way he's resigning there. You're not winning the championship this year. You have to get rid of him. You have to get a trade for him. Like you cannot let him walk. Because he's not resigning there. He already said like he wants to play with the Lakers with LeBron. So it's big, but I do have some of the suitors here for him. Obviously, like I said, the big one is the Lakers. Some of the guys, like I said, they have to offer. You got Lonzo, Brendon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Mo Wagner was also mentioned just as a prospect. Josh Hart. So the Lakers do have the prospects to trade for Anthony Davis, and like I said, the probable destination would be there. That's the place he prefers. Now, if he, that also might mean that the Pelicans, if they do end up trading, send him somewhere else where he would be a rental. Because if I could put a percentage on it, I'd probably say like 75% he signs with the Lakers in the offseason. But that's the one team. The other team that was kind of high up mentioned is the Philadelphia 76ers. And as a Sixers fan, look, it's Anthony Davis at the end of the day, but I really don't know why. I mean, you already got Jimmy Butler, as the guy you got this year. And to be honest, I mean, there's not really anybody that I would want to trade away besides Fultz, that has any value.
Which would no way be a 1-for-1. No way.
Well, I mean, you'd have to throw in some first round picks, which is fine because the Sixers are a good team. But I mean, I don't even think that gets it done. Like, you'd have to throw I don't think it's 2 firsts and Markelle Fultz I don't think would do it or even really be close, to be honest.
No.
So there's really nobody else that I would kind of consider. So, there's that. And then the Celtics, another team that was rumored. They have some interesting pieces that they could get rid of. I shouldn't say get rid of, but prospects that they would, that the Pelicans would be interested in. Jaylen Brown, some of the guys that drafted this year, Robert Williams. So, and then there is one other team I did want to mention, who is kind of coming as a dark horse, which is the Denver Nuggets. Randomly, have been kind of rumored to be in talks or trying to be in talks because, like I said, the Pelicans are shutting everything down at this point. But again, I mean, it's if you're the Nuggets, do you want to, unless they're giving up one of their top, prospects, big guys, like they're not giving up Jokic, obviously, or Jamal Murray for that point. So is there anything else that the Pelicans would really want? But I don't know. I mean, where do you guys see him getting moved, and if so, where?
Not really. I would be surprised if they can really get much of a return for him. If correct me if I'm wrong, this is his last year on his deal.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny. I actually remember him like re-signing with the Pelicans. I was actually I was still at Tennessee at the time, but like I was, I had like Bleacher Report on my phone, and like I had an NBA Twitter, and it's like, when that free agency time hit on July 1st, it's like I was like refreshing because like I wanted to hear about everything that was happening. And then the first thing I see, Anthony Davis re-signs with the Pelicans for like I can't remember exactly what it was, like $130 million. And I was at the time I was like, oh wow, like that's actually like that's probably a good signing because they're going to build a team around him. And fast forward 4 years later, and the opposite has happened. So I would be surprised if they can really get much of a return for him. And I just really see him signing with a different team during the offseason, and the Pelicans basically just getting nothing.
I mean, but like I said before, does this whole dynamic of everybody versus the Warriors kind of change things? Because I think, in my opinion, I think teams realize, like, they don't have a team to win a championship because they don't have a team that can beat the Warriors, and then they kind of go differently.
So, Tyler, I'm glad you brought that up. As much as it seems like it, the Warriors are not going to be around forever because, like, they have some expiring contracts coming up. And they're not going to be able to re-sign everyone for $30 million. They could convince everyone like, oh hey, sign with us for $2 million, and they do it. I see that as unlikely. At least towards this coming offseason and next offseason.
Not unlikely for KD, am I right?
All right, let's pause.
I mean, KD obviously is a max contract player. That's obvious, but like.
Right, but that first year he signed with the Warriors, bro, KD took a weak-ass contract.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, DeMarcus Cousins this year. I mean,
I was going to say not as weak as DeMarcus Cousins.
I mean, he's playing, in DeMarcus Cousins terms, he's playing for about $5 this season.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When they're on this team, is it something they want to continue? I mean, I know Draymond was talked about, exiting and stuff like that, but yeah, you're right. No, and I do get that. I mean, there's a sense, like I said, that earlier with the Knicks, I'm sure, are going to make a hard push for KD because they have a max slot for him.
I don't know if he would sign with the Knicks.
Again, the only thing
Like, yeah, they probably have the money for him, but I'm not sure he'd be interested.
the only thing the Knicks have going for them is this, location with the city, and then obviously being able to offer money. But that team is still on the downturn. Well, look, they have prospects. Don't get me wrong, but that they might not be good for another.
Well, basically, look, what I'm just trying to say is like the Warriors are not going to be good forever, and quite honestly, I would wager, give 2 years. They're probably going to be a middle of the pack team in like 2 years max.
Yeah.
So I would say teams if they have the mentality of the Warriors versus everyone else, then they're not doing it right.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems
maybe a couple seasons ago, yeah, but like not anymore.
Right. Yeah, you are correct. With the expiring contracts, and maybe the teams do think that way. It's just like it just seems like there's two types of teams in the NBA right now. You have your contenders, your true contenders, and then it's
like Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And then you have your rebuilders. Obviously, look, you have some of your playoff teams mixed in there, but it's just, in my opinion, like in the NBA, there's such a dip between your true champions and your rebuilders. Like
there's basically four categories. There's the championship contenders. There's the rebuilders that make the playoffs, the rebuilders that don't make the playoffs, and then the lottery teams.
Yeah. I guess, for example, like in the NHL, I feel like a rebuilder any night of the year can beat a contending team. Like it wouldn't be out of the question. But in the NBA, it just seems like that never happens. Like the favorite always wins. The championship teams always win. Like I don't know. It just seems like a big discrepancy. But yeah, we'll kind of have to see how it plays out. Like I said, there's a lot of big free agents this offseason. So
quite honestly, like it also has to do with just like the skill gap in general. Like,
oh yeah,
quite honestly, like I'm not taking a shot at the NHL, but I'm just saying I feel like
there's more superstars in the NBA.
There's more superstars and like there's more superstars and there's less people on the court.
Yeah, right.
So you're more likely to kind of, I guess, have someone to show that true superstar potential, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I get that. Yeah, it's just the way the game is played.
Right.
A star player in the NBA should have the ball, X percentage, amount of time. In the NHL, a star guy is not guaranteed to touch the puck every shift. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just a different game. But yeah, we are going to move on here. But like I said, it's something we will keep an eye on. A lot of potential trades that could happen, a lot of big trades, and also when the off season does hit, a lot of talk there. Another trade, different sports this time. In the NHL, the Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Jake Muzzin from the LA Kings. In return, the Kings get Carl Grundstrom and the rights to unsigned defenseman Sean Dursey. I don't know if it's Dursey or Dursey, and then along with the first round pick. Man, what a season the LA Kings are having in the wrong direction. They're a bottom feeding team.
26-4. Jesus.
Yeah. And look, the talk is always. I don't think it warrants it all the time, but there is the whole narrative that the Pacific is weaker than all the other divisions. You got your big teams, obviously, the Sharks, the Knights. This year, I should say, the Sharks, the Knights, and the Flames. But then after that, there is a big drop off. So there's a whole thing. But yeah, they've had a terrible season. And they unloaded a defenseman who, the Leafs obviously looking for help on defense. That was their That was their whole thing. They have the offense to win a cup, but they have the defense to win a cup. Was the question. And they get their guy. So, well, they get a guy. I should say. To be honest, I don't know if they're done dealing. I think it is possible they get somebody else, but yeah. So Muzzin's also an interesting case too because he's one of the guys in the league that's getting underpaid. He only has a $4 million salary cap hit for a guy that could be a $5-6 million guy. So obviously, the Leafs, not that they're in a cap crunch by any means, but after this season they will be because Matthews is going to get his deal. So they get a guy who hopefully, for their sake they can get back. But one thing go ahead real quick.
I was gonna say his stats aren't terrible either. This guy's not bad.
One thing I did want to talk about though is obviously with getting a defenseman like this, they did have to give a lot back. And one of the guys, a first round pick is always going to be a first round pick, but one of the guys they do give up that is, I think, could be a really good player is Carl Grundstrom. Has done really well in the AHL with, the Toronto Marlies. When he was on the team. But yeah, I think he's a guy that could be a really good player one day.
The thing with the Leafs though is that their future is now, they're already So I feel like they're in such a position to win. Not even just this season. If they keep most of their lineup for next season, they're going to be contenders easily. So I'm sure that give up was actually a little bit easier for them this time around.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Leafs are in a very good spot that a lot of other teams can't say they are because, it was just 2-3 years ago that they were the worst team in the league and picked Austin Matthews, and everybody's like, well, it's going to take some time, but they're right now they're a contender for sure, and their core is so young that they can be a contender for a long, long time.
Oh yeah.
So I do agree with that. Now, they already have. The other thing with the Leafs is, look, they have all these offensive prospects. Like, you can get rid of a few because you need defense. That's kind of what they did there. But yeah, Grundstrom was a second-round pick in 2016, 57th overall. Like I said, he, in my opinion, was one of the better players. Like, I'm looking at his stats now. Let's see. He has 29 points in 42 games with the Toronto Marlies this year. 13 goals, 16 assists. So not flattering, but I believe maybe not. I was gonna say I thought he might have been called up for a couple games for the Leafs, but like I said, he's a guy that could definitely be a solid player for the Kings in the future. Also, one thing with the Kings is the whole thing on them is they're slow, they're old, so they need to get guys like this. This guy's a really good skater, obviously young, only 21 years old. And for the Kings, you're not going anywhere this year, obviously, and for years to come, it looks like you got to make some changes. So getting a player like that, look, at the end of the day, I think this is one of the trades that actually benefits both teams. Like, it's a good trade for both teams. The Leafs get a defenseman, which they desperately need to, I shouldn't say desperately, but an upgrade on the position, and then the Kings get futures heading forward. So it was actually one of the things, and I thought it was a fair trade as well. So it was one of the actually good deals in the league.
It's got to make you happy that the Kings are now in rebuild, and you guys are at the top of the league.
Well, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Because I'm like, hey, man, continue with this core you have because you're going to suck for a long time. But yeah, the Kings always being the Sharks' arch nemesis, if you will. Yeah, I think it's it's nice. It's nice, but
what the hell?
But yeah, I think like I said, it was a benefit for both teams. So
I, as a Flyers fan, I gotta hate this fucking team too. But I'm like the biggest Quick fan though too. That's the other thing.
Also, again, something we will probably talk about in the upcoming weeks. The NHL trade deadline is approaching.
Oh,
so
I'm so ready.
There will be more trades.
I'm so ready for this.
And then we will move on to actually our second to last quick pick. I thought this was our last one, but we will try to be quick on this, as per the name. So the Khabib and Conor McGregor got handed down their punishments for the what happened after their fight this year, and I don't know. Well, let me put it this way. I'll say what happened, then we'll kind of see if we agree or disagree. But Khabib gets a fine. So it's a 9-month ban, and is fined $500,000 of the $2 million I believe he won from the fight. And then McGregor has a 6-month ban with a $50,000 fine. Why would you even fine him $50,000? Like,
yeah, that's the only thing that's the only thing I don't get about this. I'll say that Khabib's 9 months, McGregor's 6 months makes sense. Khabib did start the whole thing, like the now memed picture of him climbing over the cage. He did start the whole. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. He started the whole thing because he was the one who physically confronted first. Supposedly McGregor's team was chirping on the side, but I mean, come on, it's UFC. People are gonna chirp.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. So he hopped over. I mean, there was a lot of emotion going into this fight. A lot of bad blood. So him getting the 9 months and McGregor getting 6, that's fine. The fines, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, 500,000, okay, but then only a 3-month difference, and McGregor only gets $50,000. That's like him going to a dollar store. Like, I don't know, like what they're. I don't know why the 50,000. Like, it should have either been like 100,000 or 200,000 at least.
Like, it's funny you say that though, because it literally is like going to a dollar store for him. Like, I mean, it's the same. He was just in $100 million fight. Last year. So, and
just for context as well, that the suspension dates actually started the day of the fight. Or I'm sorry, maybe not the day of the fight. The day of the fight, October 6th. So that means Khabib will be able to come back July 6th from his suspension, and McGregor will be able to come back April 6th. So don't worry, you're not going to be losing anything on McGregor at any point. And the next fight for him is supposed to be against Cowboy Cerrone. So, yeah. But I think the suspensions. I think suspensions were about right for them too.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say because, like, if you look at first glance, it looked like McGregor was kind of the victim here. So I know a lot of people were like not agreeing that he got suspended, but I don't know. I mean, what's your
my take on that is that you can only talk so much shit before somebody snaps.
I mean,
that was his whole fight.
But I mean, that literally was what the fight was based off of. But I don't know. I mean, you watch UFC at any time. There's so much trash talk and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with it. I don't know. I'm on the fence about the suspension for McGregor.
I get the trash talk. Like, I get it's part of it, but like when you start talking about like real personal stuff, like someone's family or like their kids or spouse. I mean, parents, or anything like that. Like, you're kind of crossing the line with the trash talk.
And we talked about this after the fight too.
Right, we did talk about it. Yeah,
I know the whole thing was. I mean, there was stuff saying that McGregor was talking about, like religion, with Khabib being Muslim and his dad and stuff like that. So look, I mean, I guess in that sense, yeah. I mean, the fine. Like I said, I don't agree with the fine. Like, it's whatever, but yeah, I guess the suspension's all right, but
yeah, they should have just stuck with the suspensions and kept the fines light.
What is interesting though is further going down the story is that so Khabib says he's done with Vegas, like he does not want to fight in Vegas anymore because they also gave his brothers very harsh suspensions as well. They're both fighters as well. I don't think they're in UFC. I'm not sure about that. I can't find.
I don't. They're not.
No, I think they're no, they're not in Bellator. I have no idea where they're at. So I think they got 1-year bans because I mean, one, they're not fighters, so that's number one. They weren't fighting. They were guys on the side who ended up jumping over the cage. One of them ended up blindsiding McGregor. He jumped over behind McGregor and punched him square on the side of the face. from behind, which is a big cheap shot. But Khabib said that he doesn't want to fight in Vegas anymore because of the NCAC's harsh punishments on them, and he said he doesn't want to fight until those suspensions are up as well, if I'm reading this correctly. So you may not see him for a little bit. Gotta give him credit for standing up for his bloodline, I guess. But yeah, it's he's not happy because the funniest thing, you would never expect this. McGregor gave the best statement of it. I am thankful for Nevada Athletic Commission's fair assessment and handling of the brawl. And so this comes from Conor McGregor, by the way.
Yeah.
The guy who, the outspoken, controversial Irishman. And then you got Khabib, who's politics forever. What?
Yeah.
That's so backwards. Yeah, I mean, I think that I personally think, besides the weird 50,000 fine on McGregor, I think the suspension, at least for the lengthwise, for both these fighters were correct. I'm not sure the brothers. Yeah, I mean, they kind of jumped in and the one who blindsided McGregor, I think, definitely deserved the ban. I mean, that was terrible, but I don't know. It seemed a little weird. $50,000 is still the weird number that jumps out on this whole thing to me.
I mean, we're talking about suspensions, but I mean, if you remember at the time, they got arrested for that, and McGregor didn't press charges, so it could have been much worse.
He wasn't. Of course he was. If McGregor presses charges, his career's over. I mean, no one's gonna ever take him seriously after that. He's a fighting man. He's the guy who also, this whole thing started with the bus incident last year. That was this whole thing. That was why this whole thing even happened. So, he wasn't going to press charges for that. So the suspensions were fine. They're still rich as all hell from that fight. So they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. Khabib's still undefeated, by the way. So I'm curious who he fights next. He's 27-0. McGregor stands at 21-4. McGregor's the only one who has another rumored fight next, and that's with if I'm saying his name wrong, correct me in the comments, but it's Cowboy Cerrone, who's been up and rising. He's had a few good fights. He had a big win the last pay-per-view. Then I think he actually called out McGregor, and this fight is getting some hype now and getting some traction. So that'll most likely be McGregor's next fight. Khabib doesn't really have one, since he said he doesn't even want to fight until his brother's suspensions are up. So we might not be seeing him for a little while or hear from him in general. Now,
I mean, obviously there's the potential for the rematch between them and Vegas. The Westgate Superbook in Vegas listed Khabib as the favorite for that, which, like I said, I think that will happen, a rematch against them, because money. But when it happens, we'll have to see.
It's funny though, because this wasn't it didn't go to a decision. It was a submission from Khabib, so it was a pretty decisive victory. But yeah, I'm sure a rematch would definitely, you'll see a definite spike in buy rates. Although I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. I would assume he would take the fight, but I don't know. Is Conor interested in fighting him again?
I remember after the fight he said something about a rematch, but I mean, I don't know. But like I said, I do remember he did say something after. If that's the same case now, then yes, but I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I mean, just that $50,000 fine cracks me up.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, just think of the money that he made from the Mayweather fight. That's that's nothing to him.
All right, and then the last topic, the last quick pick we have this week is one that's been so over talked about. I'm gonna be so happy when it's over with. Roger Goodell finally had addressed the NFC Championship game. He addressed that in his annual. He does an address before the Super Bowl for every year, so he did it there.
It's the State of the Union of the NFL, is basically what it is.
It is, actually. That's exactly right, basically. But Goodell, it's such a meaningless thing to me. He said the things that we already knew. He didn't really say anything different. I mean, he said it's a play that should have been called. He reiterated he had spoke to Sean Payton, the owner. I mean, I guess, you know, the big thing out of this was the one thing he did say is, I mean, there was no point in time where he thought that they would, you know, do a make-up game or do something over. He said that he never considered a do-over. You know, he just, one of the quotes he said was, let me just start with the basics. Look, we understand the frustration of the fans. I've talked to Sean Payton, the team, the players. We understand the frustration that they feel right now. We certainly want to address this. You know, which anytime something happens, it's always, we want to address this, but it doesn't really fix the problem that was already caused. You know, I honestly don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm getting tired of this. Look, at the end of the day, the Saints got fucked over, I think, but you know, it's over now. Look, you got to move on.
Can I add a new development that I have not seen until recently?
Yeah.
This was a video from some random user, and I don't even remember who it was, but I saw it last night. Another video angle shows that the ball was tipped. So someone was implying that if it was reviewed, so the challenge flag, say a challenge flag was able to go out on that play, if the challenge went out, they would have saw that the ball actually got tipped, and then the flag would have got picked up, and it still would have been incomplete. Right?
So that's interesting because the at least from what I remember and what Roby Coleman was told on the field after he made that play was the ref said that it was tipped.
Is that what he said?
The ref said it was tipped, but nobody. But remember, we looked back at it, and it didn't even look like it could have been close to being tipped from the angle we looked at. And if we're looking at angles, the NFL has to be looking at angles, but they haven't even said anything about it.
I'm gonna find this real quick. Let me grab it real quick.
Because Goodell said that it's something that should have been called. But yeah, that was the whole thing. The ref said he didn't call it because he said it was tipped. You know, but like I said, it didn't look like it was even really possible. But you know, like I said, I mean, I'm kind of getting over this. It's, you know, the Super Bowl is in 2 days. The game was played 2 weeks ago. You know, there's no reason. Why are we still talking about this? Is really my question.
The refs are just trash in general, dude. I mean, I was watching the game and the calls were bad the whole game. Like that wasn't like the one bad call they made all game.
Oh no. I mean, and the refs have been a problem for a long time now, and it's becoming more than ever, especially with that call, the idea for challenging pass interference calls and stuff like this. It gets more traction. It's a bad situation. I mean, I still think with this, I linked the video that I saw. It was a GIF that somebody linked to some random user, talking about it. I still don't know if that's conclusive. I'll play the video if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put it on the screen. But I don't know. I do not know.
Man, I'm looking at it now because like I think obviously the big thing is like you can see the ball movement, like it kind of moves, but like it's hard to really tell. I don't know. Like I said, it's at this excuse me, at this point in time, and we're looking at all these angles and stuff like that. Like, you know, if this is why he called that the way it is, I mean, I can see him not calling it because of deflection, but obviously, like him not calling it because he thought he got there on time is not good enough.
I mean, that's still a catchable ball.
If he doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, so let's say the ball is tipped. I mean, that's still a catchable ball. I mean, that was still.
If the ball is tipped, the pass interference is void. Is void at all. But you know, man, that's tough. I'm playing this on repeat. It's so hard to see. I honestly, like, even to me, it doesn't look like.
I don't know. This guy's saying it was a tip. I don't know. It looks like, so I think what the guy circling here is his hand leaning back, to which I say his hand was like that before the ball even reached him. I'd have to go frame by frame and see this, but I can't do that at the moment. But it's really, really, I don't know. I still think the Saints got screwed. I know we're probably tired of hearing it, but on the same token, I know if this was a situation with the Pats, I'd be raising hell about this until next season. So, but it's just a really tough call. But officials have been a problem for a while now. So it was only natural that something like this would finally cause a rift between fans, the NFL, and even a team. Like the fact that the Saints are like, okay, listen to me, they've been terrible. So so we'll see what changes with this whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. God, like I said, it's still everywhere you go on social media. It's still there, and I get it. It's a big call, but fans are still expecting the game to be like played over. So I'm like, look, the game happened 2 weeks ago. Like, it's not happening. All right, we are going to move on to our big topics here. One that should be a really fun one. I'm actually really looking forward to this.
One last thing I want to add to that topic. Yep. Fuck Roger Goodell. All right, let's move on.
So with the Super Bowl every year, it's one of the biggest sporting events every year. And there's just more than just the game. You got maybe get some food in you, get some family involved around the TV.
$150 concert tickets in town for that weekend. It's awesome. Dude, no, I'm not even kidding. Like, artists that are playing in town on Super Bowl weekend are charging like outrageous prices for their tickets.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go to a show at like this small venue, like maybe 500, 1,000 cap venue, like small venue.
Yeah.
$150 for a ticket, when normally it's like between 20 and 30.
That's usually arena pricing.
And it's kind of the flip side for me because I'll be down in
big money grab weekend.
I'll be down in Georgia next week and flying into Atlanta, and the prices are lower because it's after the Super Bowl. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like double-edged sword kind of thing. But But yeah, the other big thing that every year is very fun is the prop bets. Some of the craziest things this year, there are over 450 prop bets. We have a few of them here. I'm kind of just going off of a couple websites. So I have an ESPN website with some of the prop bets. We will kind of just look at these. And like I said, some of these are outrageous. We're going to start with the more normal ones, I'll say, a lot more game stuff, and then we'll kind of move into the weird shit. So the first one that is always every year is the first one to go off, or one of the first game ones to go off, is who will win the opening toss.
I love this.
What are we feeling?
Man. So wait, who's gonna get the call on that one?
I don't remember because I don't. Well, what they do, I think, is one side would be the Patriots logo, the other side would be the
right. Brand. Oh, so there's no call. That's right, because they usually make. Okay, this is the 2019 Super Bowl commemorative coin. This represents tails.
Yeah,
this represents heads. Notice how both sides look exactly similar to each other, with one little distinction.
So, like I said, I believe that's the case. By the way, if you hear me scrambling for something, I apologize. I want to get a pen so I can write down these just for fun, because I just want to see.
So you can not lose your shit during sex.
So I can't lose my shit during sex. That's right.
Super Bowl 53. Patriots, you are tails. See how it has the 3 flags on it? Rams, you are heads. See how it has 4. I can't possibly screw this up when I flip it in the air. It's heads. Wait, 3, 4 flags. Tails.
I'm pretty sure. Don't they have the logo? Come on now.
They do, but when they do the special games and they do a commemorative token that don't have the teams on them, it's always so weird, and it seems like the ref has to really think about it. It lands on the ground, and you see him staring at it for 5 seconds. It's the most awkward thing ever. But yeah, most of them do have the team logos on it.
Flips coin. There's a flag on the play.
Foreign object on the field. Defense.
So let's just go through these and pick them like we were gonna actually doing for real. So heads or tails? What are we going with? Tails never fails.
Whoa,
Come on now.
Wait, does it have to be heads or tails, or can I say, do I think the Patriots are going to win the toss or not?
Well, the actual prop bet is heads or tails. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I guess that's stupid. Then I'll go with tails. I guess
tails never fails. Come on now.
I got heads.
Heads.
I got heads.
Because you like head, is that why?
I absolutely do. Heads.
Zach, you got a prediction as your Discord, I think, is fucking up again.
All right.
I heard it like fucking up. That's why I was like,
yeah, I know. I heard it too.
All right, next.
Yep.
So, by the way, I need to explain for anybody that doesn't know how betting works, because this is going to come into effect. So basically there's something called a money line on each bet so like, if you're looking at a money line and there's minus, that means it's the favorite, and if you see plus, that's the underdog, if you will, for the bet, whatever you're betting on. So for this next one, for example, which is, will either team score three straight times? Yes. Wait a second.
What?
This doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Now I'm like, so the prop bet is, will either team score 3 straight times? Yes is minus 200, but why is that minus 200?
Because I think they're assuming that Patriots are going to run, like, just kind of do a 3. Well, that doesn't have to be. It's not like 21-0, right? Like 3 straight times, like 3 straight drives, or 3 straight times, like
it could be like just 3. It could be like 9-0. It could be,
You said touchdowns, I thought.
No, okay. Its team will score 3 straight times. It
so 3 straight drives.
So it'll give you like a safety, a field goal, and a touchdown if you wanted to.
So it excludes extra points and 2-point conversions. I'm just confused though on why that would be the.
Well, because I think it's more than likely that. First of all, looking at the matchup, it's going to be a shootout. So I guess the under is because they're assuming that it's just going to be back forth, marching up the field.
Well, okay, but so does it specifically say, okay, so like let's say the Patriots score like first 3 drives, they get 3 touchdowns. Does it count even though that the Rams will score?
That's what I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking that it's not 3 straight times. Like, it's not like, okay, Patriots score touchdowns.
Like 3 unanswered touchdowns. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's unanswered. I think it's 3 straight drives. So, so say you're betting on the Patriots going on 3 straight drives. The Rams can still 3 straight drive. It can also score on 3 straight drives, but it's a matter of
that's not a terrible bet.
I don't think so either. For most of these teams, big offensive matchups.
If it was like 3 straight unanswered drives, then yeah, like maybe not. But
yeah, and I don't think the under for 3 straight unanswered drives would be under 200. That's Vegas being stupid. But I think I'd place that bet.
Yeah, I would too. I'd go with that.
By the way, just to finish up my point as well on how moneyline works. So like with this, say you pick no and it's plus 170, you'd get $170
on a $100 bet.
On a $100 bet. So yeah, you make a $100 bet, you would get 170 as the payout. So yeah, for like I said, I just wanted to explain that for people that didn't know how it worked. But yeah, that's weird, really weird. Okay, let's I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that one because, like I said, I'm still kind of confused about that one. But one that we can discuss. Tom Brady, total gross passing yards over 295.5 or under 295.5.
I'm gonna go under 295.5. Actually,
I am as well.
They've been relying on White and Burkhead, and they've been relying on the running backs a lot more this season than they really ever have. I mean, he'll still get a decent amount of passing yards. I would think he would break the 200 mark just barely, but I don't think he'll get to 295.
I would agree. I think I would take the under there. I'm gonna kind of skip around here because there's a lot that are kind of the same. Here's an interesting one. Number of different players with a passing attempt So obviously,
because this is the Edelman effect.
Yeah, so you're gonna have, obviously 2 quarterbacks. So the over is 2.5. The under is 2.5. Obviously, it's 2.5.
Passing attempts. So this isn't even going to be like not touchdown, passing attempts. So it could be an incomplete 2-yard pass.
Yeah. So,
I'll take the over on that.
I'm definitely taking the over on that.
Wait, over as in there's going to be only 2?
I think there's going to be 3.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously.
I see. Yeah, no, I'd take the over on that.
I mean, obviously Brady and Goff, but then you only need one other player to throw a ball. And the way the NFL, obviously with the Philly special last year, I feel like in a lot of games this year, we've seen like a wide receiver or something throw the ball, and obviously they have the Patriots have Julian Edelman, so that
helps. Who can throw dimes, by the way.
This one I would definitely take. Total rushing yards by Sony Michel over 77.5 or under 77.5. I am hammering that over.
Over. No question. I'm curious if he's going to be the guy that they give it to, outside of their own red zone. But then once the red zone hits, I wonder if they're either going to give it to him or they're going to start giving it to White again. Because I mean, White has been clutch the past 2 Super Bowls. I mean,
right,
obviously, but Michel has been the number one. Yeah, no, I'm taking the over on that. I think he's getting 70 yards. No question about it. I don't think there really is any question. 70 yards. I think he does that easy.
The next one to go with that is rushing attempts over 17.5.
Over.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one because the Patriots are one of those teams. I would take the under actually because they have they have fucking Burkhead.
Is this for both teams or just the Pats?
No. It's just Sony Michel, 17.5 rushing attempts. So fucking, they'll have White run it and Devlin, their fucking fullback, will run it like 7 times for some reason. And Burkhead, yeah, I would take the under on that. Let's move to here's an interesting one. Total receptions by Rob Gronkowski. Over 3.5 or under 3.5?
Total. Oh, jeez.
I'd go slightly over. I'd go 4.
I would settle on about 4 as well, but that's
red zone.
That's why the bettors make it like this because I think 4 would be reasonable, so they put it at 3.5.
It's gonna be interesting because they've been using him so much as the. I mean, the Rams are still gonna have no choice but to double cover him in case they, because if he's single covered, he's gonna beat him every time, and he's gonna get the ball. And Brady's gonna see him every single time, and he's a weapon when he gets the ball. He hasn't been getting the ball because he just hasn't been part of the offense as much on the receiving end of things. He's been basically a blocker. But the Rams are still going to double cover him, so it's a matter of are they going to rely on him a lot like they've done in the past, or are they going to kind of let him do what he's been doing most of the season?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably go over on that.
I'd go over.
Another weird one.
Barely.
With what happened in the NFC Championship game. Will Johnny Hecker, who is the punter for the LA Rams, will he attempt at least one pass?
No.
Yes is plus 400. No is minus 550.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I'm saying no.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no, which might make me eat my own words because anything can happen in Super Bowl. But
by the way, that 2-point conversions are excluded, so that even more to the point kind of does that.
So he's
Okay. Well, that wouldn't matter anyway because a punter wouldn't really be. Well, I guess unless he's holding.
He's their holder. Yeah, he's their holder.
Yeah, 2-point conversion from the 50.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And then the last one I have for this website, and then we'll kind of get into the little weird ones, is this is kind of a weird one. So the jersey number of the player to score the first touchdown. So the over is so the jersey number of player to score the first touchdown. The over is so if the player's number is over 26.5, it's minus 140. Under 26.5, plus 120.
Over easy. Gurley's what, 30 something?
Gurley's 30. Michelle is 26.
Of course he is.
I guess it depends on what team. If it's the Patriots, I'd probably take under.
White's 28. Gronk is 87. Edelman's 11. Burkhead's 34.
Man,
shit.
Now, yeah, it's score the touchdown because I was gonna say, I mean, if Brady throws it, the touchdown would be to the person who caught it because they scored it. Jesus. So,
you know what? I'm gonna go under.
And the other thing is, like, on the other side, Brandon Cooks is number 12.
Under. I'm under then. Screw it. If the Rams are not gonna rely on Gurley because he's been a little off recently, then I'm going under.
But this is a tough one because then C.J. Anderson is 35. I'm going to go with the over on that.
I'm going to go under. There's a lot more targets.
As well.
There's a lot more targets on the underside.
That's a good question.
That is a tough one, but I'm going the under on that one.
All right, now we're going to get into our weird ones. This is kind of, like I said, not game related. And this is kind of what the prop bets were kind of known for. So, first question. First of all, the national anthem will be sung by Gladys Knight. So, will the anthem go over 105 seconds or under 105 seconds?
Over.
Over.
I'm taking the over on that as well.
I'm taking it over. How long is that song supposed to be by default?
So I just want. There's also some description on these too, which is kind of cool.
Googling that right now.
So,
when does the clock start?
I guess when
they introduce, because even when they introduce, it's like a solid 5-10 seconds before you hear do 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 do.
That is not how our national anthem goes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, what national anthem are you singing?
The beginning organ intro. Did you ever like the first 5 notes that they play in the beginning to lead it in? I'll link you the version I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, that's what the
excuse me.
Lead up. They do the lead up part.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yes, you're correct in that.
Yeah,
case.
not like them starting immediately. They do the quick little we gotta make sure the organ's in tune first.
This says that the national anthem is 52 seconds, which seems short.
Singing straight through.
However, see, now we're getting the stats and stuff.
Wait, no, that is wrong. Let me.
Gladys Knight.
That sounds right.
Okay. This says the average length of the past 11 national anthem performances at the Super Bowl is 1 minute and 58 seconds.
So that's under 1 minute 50. That's 110 something.
So this is what I have here. So she's performed. This is
118.
Also, I don't know. This is kind of a weird one. So she's performed one national anthem in 28 years. Weird stat, right? So the only time that she has had the national anthem, it was 1 minute and 58 seconds. So I'm going over. Yeah.
And Brendy's Discord just shit the bed, so we will skip him for that bet. Move on.
All right, next one we have here. Will Dilly Dilly be said during a Bud Light commercial? Yes, minus 200. No, no plus 150. It's definitely being said.
Yeah, they're still running it. Yeah.
That I would say.
Unless they have something new, but no, they're still running with the Bud Light. So, yeah, no, I'm gonna take the under on that. Absolutely.
I mean, well, I'll just say this before I say my thing. Going on to the next question, it said how many 30-second Bud Light commercials will feature the Bud Light? Over unders 1.5.
I'm gonna take over.
I will too, and I'm gonna take yes and over. I think they go all out because it's Bud Light and they do that.
Yeah, they got it.
Of course, yeah, it's a beer commercial. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. Blow on, baby.
Dilly dilly.
Here we. All right. Next one goes to the halftime show. Will Adam Levine be wearing a hat at the start of the halftime show?
Oh, yes. Jesus.
Minus 110. No, minus 130.
I'm gonna go no.
No,
dude's gonna be shirtless.
Dude's
gonna be shirtless coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going no with that. And then then you have the list of songs that will be performed first as bets too. So One More Night plus 300, Makes Me Wonder plus 500, Sugar plus 550, Animal 600, and then you go all the way to plus 1500 for songs. I don't want to get into that. I just thought it was really funny.
Nobody wants this fucking band at the show, and it's just kind of hilarious. Bringing in Travis Scott to try and fix it.
No, literally no one wants them. Like, the only good person coming on is Big Boy from Outkast. Like,
okay, will CBS show replay of missed pass interference call versus Rams?
Yes.
Yeah, the yes is minus 130. No is plus 100. Yes, that's definitely
no
yes.
way. Yeah, they're absolutely going to show because they're going to be talking about the entire time. Let's remember how they got here.
Well, yeah, they'll do a recap of how they got there. That's definitely. I would. Damn,
the rest were so shitty that everyone died.
I will forever like the call when during what is commonly known as the bullshit game between the Ravens and the Patriots. This was still in the replacement ref era where one of them said, I forget which one it was, said we try to behave ourselves up here, we really do.
All right, will Jim Nantz or Tony Romo say Philly special? I'm gonna go no.
I'm gonna go yeah. Because how are they going to talk about because they're going to same reason why they're going to show the no PI call is that they're going to talk about remember when the Patriots were here last year and they got destroyed.
Yeah, that's true.
By Philly.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to skip through because we only have limited time here. Total times Roger Goodell will be shown. Over under is 1.5.
I'm gonna go.
That's a weird one because does that include when he shows the trophy? Because if it does, I would take the over.
I'm gonna go the over. I'm gonna take the over on this one.
Yeah, I will too.
Because they'll even do it in one play. Like they'll be talking about it, like, oh wait, there's a play on the field. Play ends. Okay, back to Goodell. Like one of those moments. I predict one of those is gonna happen.
Sorry, I'm laughing because some of these are fucking insane. How many times would Donald Trump tweet on February 3rd? Over under 6.
Damn, that's insane. Because you never know what kind of tirade he's gonna go on that day.
Well, it's the tirade, and then it's like talking about the actual, we'll say something about the game, and then
is he allowed to bet on himself in that regard?
Oh, I don't know, but you know how him and Brady are buddy. So if the Patriots win, I would hammer the over.
But by the way, did you see Daniel Radcliffe was talking about Tom Brady recently? About how he was talking about, in case you don't know, Daniel Radcliffe, famous actor who played Harry Potter. I would hope all of you know that, but he, first of all, he's from England, so not much invested in American football as far as I know. But he was talking about how he was tired of the Patriots always winning, and he told Brady to get the MAGA hat out of your locker.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. Man. These are just so weird. All right, let's go to a very classic one. What will be the color of? I like how they word this. What is the color of the liquid poured on the winning coach? So you got lime green /green/yellow at plus 225, orange 300 plus 300, blue plus 375, red, and then you have clear and water as plus 400.
I'm gonna go
and purple plus 1,000.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go blue.
I'm going lime and green or yellow.
Okay, I agree with that. Lime, green, and yellow.
I'm gonna go blue. I'm gonna be a little more risky here. I'm gonna go blue.
Last year it was yellow. Let's see. Will Tom Brady announce his retirement after the game?
No. Well, he apparently already said he's not. So I doubt it.
I know this came out a few days ago.
We'll see.
All right, and we'll wrap it up there. Like I said, there's some just crazy prop bets. Like I said before, the Super Bowl is more than just it's more than just the game. There's so much to it. Obviously, the festivities. It's kind of the ceremony of football. So then the NFL. So these prop bets. The episode will release after the Super Bowl, so we'll kind of see if we hit on the prop bets. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and I don't know, goddamn, some of these bets, like I'm looking at these, like sorry if I'm stuttering, because I'm looking at these again, and like I would literally actually bet on these. Like there's some that I feel like are layups. But anyway. All right, and now we move on to our In Case You Missed It segment with Brendy.
All right, so I got a question for y'all. Do you like Cheetos?
Do I like Cheetos?
No.
Yeah.
No? Okay. So what would you say? Okay, so Zach says no, both of y'all say yes. So
yeah.
Also, next question. Do you like KFC?
I can't eat it anymore, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I had KFC probably was 10 years ago, but it was good then.
What about you, Zach? You like KFC?
I mean, I don't have anything against KFC, but I don't really go there.
Yeah, fair enough. So, KFC is launching a new item off the menu. It is going to be called a Cheetos sandwich, and it sounds just as great as you think it is. I'll send you guys a picture now so you can see what it looks like. That's the wrong chat, but
what? Where did you put that?
I put it in the Pod Commands chat by accident. So basically, it's a chicken sandwich smothered with Doritos and like some sort of sauce, or not Doritos, Cheetos with some sort of sauce.
I'm throwing up right now.
Wait, what chat? I just don't know where this is. What chat?
I put it in the Bot Commands by accident.
Oh, the commands. Oh, because I haven't muted this one.
Horrific.
Right.
Oh my god, dude.
So, I mean, quite honestly, like, from the picture, it doesn't look too terrible.
Oh.
This looks like something I would, like, throw together when my mom wasn't looking at home. like, it's exactly what that looks like. But
so it will only be available in select southern states for now. So, like, it's not going to be a northern thing yet. So I gotta ask you guys: are you willing to take a bite of this thing?
Considering if I do that, I'll probably die. No, but I mean, if like, I were hypothetically speaking, I'd probably take a bite out of this.
All right, I think Zach is a definite no.
I would try it at least. I don't know if I'd like it, but I'd try it.
I feel like Ty, you like chicken and Cheetos. I don't know why this wouldn't be bad in your eyes.
But like I feel like Cheetos with bread would be like a weird combination in terms of like it just seems weird to me.
You didn't ever put Doritos on your ham and cheese sandwich at school?
I still do this. What?
I would put I would put like potato chips, not like Cheetos though. I feel like the texture would be just really weird.
Well, I mean, so like I'm looking at the comments, and that's basically what that's basically what they're saying. Like what the mayonnaise does, it would first like it kind of holds like the two together. It holds the Cheetos and the chicken together, but it also fixes the weird texture a little bit.
This is the type of thing you definitely shouldn't be eating while you're driving because this thing is bound to fall apart. Like, look at it. There's so many loose objects like this.
Dude, just imagine like getting slightly rear-ended.
Hold on. You ever like eat like a big ass burger like at like Applebee's or Red Robin or something like that, and it's so stacked that as soon as you take a bite of it, like half of it falls from the bottom.
Yeah.
Like you ever had that happen? Like this happens to me constantly, and this is definitely the sandwich that'll
Bobby, hold on, before we move on, I have to ask Bobby a question. So you said it's a sandwich you wouldn't eat when you're driving. How do you drive and eat? Because
how do you not?
Dude, that's easy.
Like, well, I'm asking. Do you use your
like
hands?
This, Tyler? One hand on the wheel, one hand on the food.
Well, that's fine. I asked that question
Wait, though, you definitely got to see how I eat Chick-fil-A fries. I literally put the Chick-fil-A sauce like in like the little like handle that's on the car door, and then I have the fries in the cup holder, and it's like a smooth process. Fry, dip, eat. Like it's perfect.
Yeah, but how the fuck do you not spill it all over yourself?
That is a question I'm not going to answer because there's too many failed attempts.
Perfect setup. Yeah,
I asked because me and Bobby have a friend who he's very tall. Well, he's probably Bobby's height. But when he drives and eats a sandwich, he drives with his legs. Like he has his steering wheels on his leg, like his legs on the steering wheel, like moving it with his thighs.
Can you text me who this is? Can you text me who this is?
Well, I don't. It's Logan. Logan does this.
Oh,
he literally has two hands on the sandwich and then uses his thighs to move the wheel. That's why I had to ask. That's why I had to ask. Okay, that's
Logan, somehow listening. We love you, by the way.
I am scared of death, contrary to Papa.
I cannot tell you how many times I've been in the car with him when he's doing that, and it's very scary. Yeah. So I needed to add that. But go ahead, Brendy.
I was just gonna say, let me give you a scenario. So like, let's say like you're driving behind someone. And like you accidentally like hit them from behind, you rear end them, you get out of the car, make sure they're okay, and like you just see like this sandwich just splattered on their front windshield. You think like you blew their head off or something.
And then the guy's like, no, I totally get it. Have a nice day.
Oh, that's fun.
So all right, so y'all would maybe give it a bite, see what it's like.
I'm giving it a bite.
I never will, but if I could, I would.
I know it's going to be bad, but I can't say I'm not curious.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So, unfortunately, the month of January was just kind of a dead month in terms of video games. Not really a whole lot of releases. Yeah. They did have a major release just recently, Kingdom Hearts 3. But something I've been following for the past couple years or so is Final Fantasy, which is a game series which I think is completely overrated. I don't know if you guys have ever played any of the Final Fantasy games. There's some that I really, really like Final Fantasy VI is probably my favorite.
I have a couple of them.
I have never played them.
You've never played them? What about you, Bobby?
I've like dabbled in a couple of them here and there, but like I've never like actually sat down to play a full through of a Final Fantasy game. Right.
So if you were to like just from experience or like reading through stuff, like what would you say is like probably the most popular Final Fantasy? It's got to be Final Fantasy 7, right?
7, yeah.
So Final Fantasy 7 has been confirmed to be. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by people texting me.
By your obsessive clicking, maybe.
Final Fantasy 7.
Like...
Can I talk, please?
Go ahead.
Final Fantasy 7 is coming to Nintendo Switch. That's what I'm trying to say.
I still don't have a Switch yet.
Yeah, so the Nintendo Switch has been doing a really good job with their releases, in my opinions. Like they have the new Mario Kart and new Mario Party on the way, and quite honestly, like they have some of the best recent releases, in my opinion. I think the Switch is doing really well, and I think the whole Final Fantasy thing is going to make it even better. So I want to get your guys' opinion. Is you think Nintendo Switch is on the right track?
Oh yeah,
I think Nintendo
and they've got a new Pokemon game coming out soon.
Right. For kids, yeah, but they kind of like alienated their violent game players. Like, I want to play GTA on the road.
Well, Nintendo's never really been like that, though.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, they did at least for the Wii. They were porting games, but the ports were terrible. We've talked about this. Brendy linked the picture of the Black Ops 1 port on the Wii and how terrible that looks. Right, so they used to port those games, but it was never a good sell. So
I guess that's not really much of a criticism. What I'm saying is just because I know that's like how they always have been, keeping it like kid friendly. But I'd really like to see a portable game system that includes like those rated T, rated M games.
Zach, would you enjoy NHL 19 more if it was on the Nintendo Switch?
Oh my god!
I don't want to get into this right now.
It can't be worse than Xbox.
I feel like you can't say NHL 19
It can't be worse, period.
What's that?
So
it can't be worse. Period. Like,
yeah, I know.
So what if NHL 19 was like on the original Wii, like with the Wii remote and nunchuck?
If the game was playable, I would like it.
I want to see Zach playing hockey on the Wii, where he has to actually shoot the puck with the Wii remote.
I think it was the Wii. They had like, I want to say it was like Wayne Gretzky's hockey or something on the Wii, and it was like that. Or at least if I remember.
They had NHL 2K11, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they had the 2K NHL games on the Wii for the longest time. I think they stopped making them though.
I would hope so. I would really hope so.
Look, man, I mean that was my dream though. Like I wanted to be able to play like hockey without actually needing people to play hockey.
Skating on the Wii Fit board and using the nunchuck and the Wii remote.
You'd be like running around. You'd be like running around in circles in your living room. Like that's too much work, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first got the Wii. It came with a couple of games, obviously, and obviously Wii Sports was huge at the time because that was the game that came with it, and it came with like a tennis racket extension,
I had that too.
A couple other things.
Golf club.
The golf club. That's what it's freaking cool.
The baseball bat, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but
I missed the Wii, man.
Yeah, me too. I still have it, man. Mine still runs.
Mine too.
Yeah, I remember Zach used to come over to my
sports
house.
Tournament.
Zach used to come over to my house from time to time, and we would play. I can't remember what sport we did the most. I think we mainly did baseball.
I think me and Bobby did too. I was hitting absolute dingers off this kid. Okay,
my roommate talks so much shit because of the amount of Wii baseball he plays. He's still actually, we did play it one time and he's still actually really good at it. You want to talk about dingers, he's hitting them second deck every time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I just want to say this. There was this one game mode, like in the training mode.
Yes.
And specifically
the mini games.
The mini games, yeah. Where one of the bowling things was like you had like once you got like the last stage, it was like 100 pins. Yeah. And that was always a lot of fun.
My sister was good at that. She was always good at the bowling games on that for whatever. She's also good at the. Do you ever play the tennis target where there's like a target on the wall and every time you hit it, there's a new target?
Yeah, man, that's hard.
Yeah, she's really good at that.
Yeah,
kind of strange.
Yeah, it's very funny too because like I feel like just a lot of games, like classic games, like had some sort of like bowling like mini game with it. Like fucking Spider-Man for the PS2 had a bowling theme. Or not a bowling theme, a bowling mini game where like the pins were like thugs that were like webbed up. Like you had to like swing into them and try to knock over as many as you could.
I will say, like, I don't know, Nintendo was always a very, all the consoles Nintendo always put out. I always really like. I don't have a Switch, but friends and stuff that have it. It's very fun. So
I will say I do have a Nintendo Switch. I got it for Rachel May for her birthday. Great buy. I do not regret that.
Yeah, that's good.
It's on my list eventually.
Yeah,
but Switch is doing a good thing.
Yeah, she takes it home and plays with her sister all the time, and they really liked it. I think I mentioned this not too long ago. There's a really popular game on there called Overcooked.
That game's for the Xbox. I hope you guys. I got to make sure I got it, but I wanted us all to get it.
Yeah, it works really well on the Switch though. So it's I don't know. It just seems more more free form, and like it's like you could take the Switch off and go play when you're at work.
Right. Yeah, and that's something good. Like especially for someone who like travels a lot, I'm sure it's amazing, like on an airplane and everything else. But they're doing really good with their releases.
I actually haven't taken it with me on a plane yet, but I've really wanted to.
Yeah, I'm surprised when you flew up here, you didn't bring that with you.
Yeah, I really should have, but I also it's also like I don't want to take something that belongs to Rachel May because I got it for her. I got it for Christmas for her.
True.
So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and move on, boys.
You say that as Bobby's using his girlfriend's mic.
Well, listen, man. Listen, this is dedication, man. This is dedication. Shut up.
We're actually gonna wrap up the show there. We're gonna do some video game talk, but time constraints have kind of prohibited that. We are gonna end the show though with, as always, Zach's track of the week. So Zach, go ahead with that.
This week's track of the week is "Crazy Colors" by Larry League. Just came out today. Larry League is a 3-piece rap group out of Atlanta. They've been around since like 2015, 2016, but they've really like started coming up recently. Not even recently, honestly. Like 2016, 17 was their biggest years, but they're still kind of underground, up and coming. Like their music's really good. They make trap music. If you like Atlanta trap music, you'll like it. So, Crazy Colors by Larry League.
Do they do concerts in Atlanta pretty frequently?
They're like not that big yet, so they're kind of still doing local shows and stuff. Like,
are you listening to an opera in the background? What the hell was that?
Oh no, sorry. I'm sorry. That's Kingdom Hearts. I had that running in the background.
Dude,
we need to build a studio and just foolproof it, like soundproof.
It needs to be like a 2-foot cube. Like
so, and we gotta fucking like soundproof his fucking mouse.
I didn't
like the equivalent of like a 2x2 house in Minecraft.
I didn't know you guys could hear my Xbox.
Well, we told you that your mic picks up everything. It picks up everything.
That was the first time I heard it. But anyway, we'll wrap up the show there. I think another good episode. And we will, like I said this at the beginning, we will, the podcast is going to come out after the Super Bowl. So, but we gave our Super Bowl predictions on the last podcast. We gave our little, bets and stuff on this podcast, but it'll come out after. Also, that is a dangerous game we played because I dabbled in it in real life and actually put some bets down. So, I'm losing my mind. Got to go with the yellow Gatorade color. Anyway. Also, I will say we will probably not be recording next week because I will be down in Georgia and we'll probably have no time. So yeah, just heads up there. But anyway, we will wrap up the show by saying, if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter at Come Play Network. If you are watching on YouTube and you like the video, give it a like, subscribe if you enjoyed and have enjoyed our episodes. And we will see you next week for episode, what is this? I don't even know what
20. We're going to be
episode 20. Let's go. And we will see next week or the week after, maybe. We don't know. We'll let you know.
We don't know.
We will see you next time for episode 20.
And if you didn't like the episode, don't leave a like, you cunts. All right, thank you.
See you later, guys.
Peace.